Welcome back to the Dutch Endeavor podcast, man. We are we're not live on YouTube tonight because I don't know what direction that this was gonna go. But oh shit. There's just so much to go over this week that I may get to all of it or I may not because we gotta play some games later. Because it's Monday night. Monday we do stream. We're just gonna stream a little late tonight. I don't even know where to start because it's just again like, nothing. None of this is good news. Well, let's see here. We got one. Nope, that's it. We don't have one good thing to talk about. Okay. So let's fire off right because this is why we're doing a podcast on Monday instead of Tuesday because I had to talk about this today because I had to get my opinion in before other people did because I'm like that, I'm narcissistic. So over the weekend, our Colorado Rockies, I think we're playing the Miami Marlins, and yeah, a day game. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't matter. I think it was Sunday. I mean, I don't even know how to preface this because it's such a complex. It's not complex. It's super fucking simple and easy. But it okay. So, the game is on and I'll just tell you what happens. The game's on and you know how, sometimes you can hear like fans yelling or some shit. Let's see. Oh, I played the Marlins. Okay. So yeah, Sunday afternoon, Rockies are playing the Marlins. And Lewis Brinson, I think is how you say it, he's up to bat in the ninth. Game's over. I don't know who won. Who gives a shit? And you know, like you can hear the fans sometimes, like some of the mic catches things, and they're like, hey, 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 yeah, you hear all that, okay? Well, some guy who's behind home plate, and imagine you're this guy, okay? I'm the guy, and I'm behind home plate, and I'm looking forward. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see what I'm doing. If you're not just listening, I'm behind home plate as a fan, and I'm behind home plate basically directly, and I'm looking at the play. Okay, I see the umpire's ass. I see the catcher behind in front of the umpire. I see the batter off to the left, and then the whole field's in front of me. And then over to my right, my far right, in the stands up a little bit, is the mascot Dinger. So what I do is I look to the right and I raise my hand and say, Dinger, Dinger. Now, what I just said, what did you guys hear? Did you hear Dinger? Because I heard Dinger. And I think everybody heard Dinger. And I looked at Dinger and I waved at Dinger and I said, Dinger, Dinger. But I'm at a game, so it's like, Dinger, Dinger. That's what happened. That's it. That's the end of the story. What? No. Oh shit! No, wait a minute. There's way more to this story. Okay. So again, I'm behind home plate, and I'm watching the game. And over to my right, the mascot is there. It's a ninth inning. I've had a couple beers, so I'd like to talk to Dinger. So what I do is I look all the way right. And again, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, it's much easier. And I look to the right and I raise my hand. I'm not even looking at the play anymore. I'm not even watching baseball anymore. I'm looking at the mascot. And I raise my hand, I start waving. I go, Dinger! Dinger! How's it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't it. Apparently, what happened is I said something other than dinger. I'm the fan again still. The wacko left and including the dysfunctional scumbag race baiting piece of shit Colorado Rockies heard something else. And they're not going to say what they heard, but here's the statement they released. The Colorado Rockies are disgusted at the racial slur by a fan directed at the Marlins' Lewis Brinson during the ninth inning of today's game. Although the subject was not identified prior to the end of the game, the Rockies are still investigating this incident. The Rockies have a zero tolerance for any form of racism or discrimination, and any fan using derogatory language of any kind will be ejected and banned from Coors Field. And that's from the Colorado Rockies. Okay? Let's break that down a little bit. Now, I didn't hear about this yesterday. I heard about it today, this morning. So I watched the video, and I heard the guy say dinger, 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 and I'm sitting here like, am I missing something? Like, what the fuck did he say? And I'm trying to think of all the racial slurs I know, which are a lot. And I'm trying to like, hey, dinger, dumbass, not racial, dinger. And it took me like forever, and then finally it hit me. It's like, oh. After you told me the batter was black and all this, I think, okay, maybe some of you race baiting little fucks heard the N word. Because let's face facts, the real racists are the ones that find racism where there is none. And Rockies, you're included in this. And all the fans and all the people on social media who just piled on this guy for clearly saying dinger instead of the N word. That's what they thought he said. They thought that this guy screamed the N word twice because he went dinger, dinger with his hand up. They thought he, was yelling racial slurs at Lewis Brinson. Now, there's a couple things here. There's a lot of things to break down. This could take the entire fucking podcast. Let's be honest. It won't, but it could. So, what's happened is the Rockies have taken it upon themselves to open their big fat mouths and just say dumb shit prior to knowing what the fuck's going on. I mean, they even say in their statement they're still investigating. They have no fucking idea what happened. But, they're going to jump on the woke bandwagon and they're going to blame this guy and crucify him, no matter what. And that's just what we're going to do because we're a professional organization of complete fucking morons. Now, if you watch the video, I can't put the video on here because last time I put a video up for 10 seconds, MLB's after me for like copyright shit. Let me tell you something, MLB. I pay for your little service there for out of town games. And if I want to post a little 10-second clip of it, I should fucking be able to. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so the video clearly shows that this guy literally looks right. I mean, he looks way right. Raises his hand and yells dinger twice to get the mascot's attention. Holy crap, it didn't. The whack job liberals were out in full about this. They were applauding the Rockies for taking such drastic action immediately with no evidence, nothing like that, just their heads firmly cemented up their own asses, which is how most liberals approach life. Some say it came too late. I mean, day after, that seems fine for me. But then, so the responses and the video, you got to watch the video. It's part of it too. But just the audio alone gives away that he says dinger, dinger instead of inward, inward. But the video clearly vindicates this guy because, again, he is right behind home plate. He's like first row, maybe second. And it's loud. his voice. His wife sitting next to him, and a bunch of fans, maybe his girlfriend, I don't know, or his sister, who knows? Somebody's sitting next to him, and there's a ton of fans all around him, and literally right in front of him is a little usher bitch, and then you've got, I don't know, maybe 20 feet to the umpire, catcher, batter, all this, and everybody clearly hears this. So the guy looks right, raises his hand, says all this stuff, and no one reacts. A couple people smile, but no one reacts. The batter doesn't even turn around. Umpire doesn't turn around. Catcher doesn't turn around. The fans don't do anything. The usher sitting literally in front of him does nothing. Do you think for 1 second? Now I know that America is racist and it's a horrible country and we're all just scumbags. But do you think for 1 second if a guy sitting behind home plate raised his hand and yelled N-word, N-word, that everyone around him, and I mean everyone, would do literally nothing? No, I don't. So maybe it's possible that he didn't say N-word, N-word, and he said dinger, dinger, which I don't really think sounds that alike. But it just the point of that you people are just looking for racism, and they're excuse me, they're manufacturing just I don't know where they're like, oh, that's racist. I heard what I heard, and I'm a crazy fuck, and I'm over it. Yeah, racist, racist, racist everywhere. Holy crap! I seriously I've had enough of it. Like racism doesn't exist anymore because the left has watered down its meaning so much that it's literally everything. It's literally everything and nothing all at once. Like this guy is waving at a mascot, yelling dinger dinger, and people automatically hear. Like if that's your jump, if some guy's like dinger dinger, you're like, oh fuck me, I heard inward inward. You're mentally retarded. Like there's something inherently wrong with your thinking process. And then, like I said, everybody on social media is piled on top of him. Blah. It's been awful. But then today, like when all the facts showed up, it actually turns out that he only said dinger dinger and was literally looking at the mascot, waving at Dinger, saying that. And the retractions aren't really retractions. Some of them are like, well, we were unable to verify what he actually said, so it may not have been a racial slur. We're not ruling it out, but it may not have been. Now, the social media nerds are still all over this, and that's what's so pathetic about the left is, again, they find racism where there is none. Like, they're literally just fabricating things at this point, and people are on board with it. Like, oh, yeah, yeah, I totally believe that's what was said. Everyone hears dinger, but I'm gonna just ignore fucking reality, and I heard the N word, and now I'm gonna get on my soapbox and I'm gonna start yelling about it. I mean, I think the Rockies have a responsibility to this fan now who's been posted all over the world as a racist. To, I mean, I hope this guy crushes them with slander. Because what slander is where you say something, libel's where you write it. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But this guy literally did nothing wrong, and everyone's made a mountain out of a molehill about it. Not, it wasn't even a molehill. He just did nothing wrong. You made a mountain out of the bottom of the ocean. You guys are completely insane. But yet, liberalism isn't a mental handicap. It's completely fucking nuts. So let's see. Okay, like Scott Williams. You're an idiot, Scott. Well, you're in Seattle. No wonder you're fucking shit. What's wrong with a fan sitting around him that they tolerated this? Shame on all. Well, I tell you what, Scott. You know why they tolerated it? Because he said dinger, you dumb fuck. Which now I mean, that could bring a whole other topic. Like, I think dinger should be a racial slur because he's a dumb mascot. Even the broadcasters were like, "Oh, we heard something horrible, and we're sorry. We don't condone it, and we didn't hear anything because we're not fucking paying attention." Kevin Ray, you're another dumbass. We're the fans in this situation. They should have been all over pointing him out to the security guard to get him the hell out. Okay, well, Kevin, let me refresh your tweet for you a second. What I would have said is, where are the fans in this situation? They should have been pointing him out to the security guard sitting literally in fucking front of the guy to get him the hell out. Maybe it's because he didn't say anything. Maybe you're just stupid. Um, well, Heather wants to confirm what was said. Some person is deaf and wants clarification. And then William Wallace, you're retarded too. Hours and hours too late. How can I bring my son to the games when you clearly have zero control over creating a reasonably safe environment? Maybe stop focusing on making money and concentrate on your fan experience and product for once. Okay, William, I'm sorry I just scrolled through this and I saw your tweet, and congratulations, sir. You actually you have said the stupidest thing I've seen today, and I've seen a lot of dumb shit today, which we'll get to. But first of all, there, Chief, safety has nothing to do with words. It's the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I would say reasonably safe. Like, you're gonna hear some swear words and stuff. I'd still call that reasonably safe. Maybe you should stop focusing on making money and concentrate on your fan experience and product. Well, William, I have some news for you, sir. The way that a Major League Baseball team makes money is through the fan experience with their product, i.e., the baseball team. And actually, the Rockies make a fuckload of money for what a shit team they are. They're killing it, money wise. So, William, you're again a mentally retarded liberal. Somebody's talking about it was Faith Night, so no one got to him after. That doesn't matter. Stash smart. How has this not been deleted yet? McNeil, even smarter. Arrest Dinger. Get that fucker out of here. Um, RT Cardinals. I hope you're. Oh, you're Cardinals fan. That's a bummer, man. I'm a Cardinals fan, and you're a complete fucking moron. Who still uses that word? It's ridiculous. Well, you didn't use that word, dinger. I don't know, man. How many people go to a game? 40,000? Well, 40,000 people yell the word dinger. Oh, you mean the word that you thought you heard and just made shit up for attention? And I mean, more to the point, like I said, the fans did nothing because the guy didn't say anything. The player didn't turn around. No one reacted. So if that would mean, and trust me, players react to stuff you say if it cuts deep enough and they can hear it. They may not do anything, but they'll definitely look back. How many NBA players have we seen who have gone off on fans? I've had a couple players when I'm sitting above the dugout. I've said some things and they've turned around like, "What did you say?" So they hear it, okay, and they react, and they're especially going to react to that if it was said, but it wasn't. And everybody, they just do what they always do. They couldn't be bothered to remove their heads from their own asses, and they just started spouting this liberal propaganda crap. And I hate that this has turned into like a crazy liberal podcast where we just shit on them all the time, but they're just so insane, and they've enveloped every part of our society that it's literally impossible to talk about anything without mentioning how they have fucked that one thing up. Like, a guy can't even go to a baseball game anymore and ask for the mascot to come over. You're gonna call him a racist. It's just, it's a mess. And I mean, like I said, we can go on forever about this, but I mean, it's been 20 minutes. And I just bring it to another point. Like, in Wisconsin, I think there's some school in Wisconsin that has a giant rock. Now, don't turn it off yet. Let me finish. They have a giant rock that I guess in like 1905 they referred to big dark rocks as a racial slur. And it might have been in a newspaper article that they said, like racial slur rock in 1900, 100 years ago. Well, some little bitch, and that's what you are. Whoever found this out, whoever had this amount of time or zeal in their life to come up with this crap, has decided that now the rock is a symbol of racism because 100 years ago, in a news article, when writing about the rock, someone may have used a racial slur when describing the rock. So you know what? Get rid of the rock. No, I'm not fucking kidding. They actually hired people to come in, get a crane, remove the rock, and truck it off. Yep, that's the amount of crazy we're dealing with. We can cover sports just a little bit more. So last week and this will be a bigger thing, but last week I totally dumped on Simone Biles for having her mental breakdown, not being dropping out of competing, still hanging around as a distraction, and then competing later. But it turns out that during her little mental breakdown, where she still stayed and was a complete distraction to everyone, that her aunt died during that time. And I if it's true, and see, this is what makes me feel like just a piece of shit, is that I'm skeptical of this a little bit, and I'm almost 100% positive her aunt died. Yeah, I am. I know that. How close she was with her aunt, what impact doesn't matter. But this is the way I see it. You have a mental breakdown and you can't compete anymore because you're just not mentally ready. Okay, fine, fucking go home. But you don't want to go home. You stick around and you're a distraction for everyone because you're a narcissistic piece of shit. And I'm sticking by that because I'm getting to a point. And then during your mental breakdown, your aunt dies, which theoretically should add to your mental breakdown, but actually it doesn't. It gives her the strength to compete and get bronze. Does, am I the only one that sees how that's nuts? Like, if I have a mental breakdown and I can't do the podcast anymore or play games, so I take a break. But every once in a while, I get on and I still tell people about my mental breakdown, and you all focus on that instead of the people who are actually still podcasting and doing that. But in the midst of that, a close family member of mine dies, and that doesn't add to mine. And now I have the strength to come back and make a shittier podcast. I don't get it. I feel like I'm, to quote, the taking fucking crazy pills, right? I mean, am I the only one that thinks that something's not right here, or like wrong, or it just doesn't make sense? Or am I just missing it because I'm not sensitive enough? That could be it too. I'm not super sensitive. Yeah, and like the Olympics, they took a bath on ratings. No one watched. And I guess what NBC is doing is, and I'm not super like in on this. Like, I don't know how the industry works, but I think I understand a little bit. Like, if you pay for advertising on the Olympics, NBC will say like, okay, man, 50 million people are going to watch the Olympics, so 50 million people are going to see your ad. Well, it turns out that they might have all right, let's use smaller numbers. They promised 10 people would see your ad, and it turns out only one person did. So the advertisers are pissed, which I would be because they guaranteed, 10. But now what NBC is doing is they're saying, okay, we're gonna we'll play your ads during our other primetime crap, like The Bachelor or whatever else nonsense they play on TV, and you hopefully you get your money back that way. I mean, good on NBC for doing that, But I think we should, if we're going to talk about all this, we want to talk about the root of the problem at the border, at every. The root of the problem is you have a bunch of America hating fucks represented on TV in a program that is supposed to be America loving. Like, I don't think anybody watching NBC was necessarily rooting for China. You know what I mean? Like, we were all there to watch America dominate, which turns out we didn't dominate. I'd say we dominated. We won. We won the medal count, and we have more golds than anybody. So good job for us. But I didn't watch but like 2 minutes of the Olympics because I was late at night and I was drunk and watched rowing, or it was on and then I quickly switched the channel. But I really don't want to watch that purple hair loser, and that's absolutely what she is, protest a country that she's representing. And you're welcome to free speech. I'm fine with that, but I'm not going to support you, and that's not the time for it. We've been over timing, and we're not going to get more into this. But yeah, so the ratings took a bath, which we've already talked about. Which duh. And I mean, people are getting tired of it. Go woke, go broke. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else sports related? Oh, training camp's stupid. I'm sorry, we've talked about this before, but really, it is. God, everybody's just like, oh, somebody did so good in practice today. Little Bobby, and then they got in a skirmish and shut up, nerd. Nobody cares. Unless you're like a football nerd, and I don't even care about that. Like, if football consumes your life and that's the only sport you like, awesome. I don't want to hear about it in July. And I sure as fuck don't want to hear about practice with no pads. Or you get pads, what, once a month they wear pads? Let's see what else. Oh, Hall of Fame. Peyton, these are Broncos we're gonna talk about. Peyton got in, which he's a Bronco because I mean the Colts have pretty much dumped him. Steve Atwater got in, and John Lynch. Send your hate mail because here it comes. Yeah, send it to at Dutch the Beast or at Dutch Endeavor No I on Twitter, or comment section. I don't care what you do. I think that the Hall of Fame is going the way of the Pro Bowl. They let a lot of people in there. And if you let a lot of people in, maybe it's not as prestigious as it once was. And I'll let you guys make your judgment about who I'm talking about, because I don't really want to get all that much hate. But like Peyton Manning clearly deserves to be in there. Okay? I mean, clearly. Steve Atwater, yeah. I mean, I I would argue I've never seen anybody hit other people so hard as Steve Atwater did. Underappreciated in his time, but yeah, man, if you were in the middle of the field, you were gonna die. If Steve was on the field and you were a receiver who caught a ball across the middle, you were gonna die. Even if you were running back who broke to the second level, you were gonna die. Steve Atwater could hit. He's one of the last that could actually hit. That's where I'm going to leave that. You guys, I'll leave it up to your own devices, but I think we're being a little too inclusive in the Hall of Fame. In all Hall of Fames, by the way. Even the baseball. And hockey, I'm not super familiar with, and neither basketball, but it's turning into like a Pro Bowl. I mean, I personally believe, and I'm not saying that anybody from this class didn't have one because I don't know. There's like 50 of them. There's a ton this year. But I mean, if you don't win a championship, I'm not sure you should be in there. And people are like, well, Dutch, what about Dan Marino? Okay. What about Dan? I mean, Hall of Fame is the best of the best. And usually the best of the best win championships. I'm just saying, you know, well, he was on a bad, well, he could have been traded, or he could have, or, well, he liked, well, that's the sacrifice you make sticking with Miami. You may not win a world championship, you might not get there, but hey, you got to live and play in a place you love. But I mean, I don't know. If you don't win a championship, you're kind of like the best at not winning, which would be losing. I don't know. Yeah, that's my own thing. Ah, okay. Damn, where do we go from here? How do we make this worse? We could stay local with Denver. So the Denver Post and a couple other people posted an article recently about how much unbelievable fucking money uh the city and county of Denver spends on homeless people. And we have two issues here. Well, we have a whole lot more than fucking two, but we have two main issues here. And I'll spit it out. The number is yearly the city and county of Denver spends, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the article in front of me. I encourage you to go read it. I may be able to find it, but I'll give you the gist of it, and that'll be enough to piss you off if you're not a moron. The city and county of Denver spends between 40 and like $100,000 a year per homeless person. That's right. 40 I think the actual number is like 43,000 to 106,000 per homeless person. Let's talk about this for real quick. If you can't nail down a number within 60 grand, that's a problem. If I came to you and said, it's like, hey, Dutch, I mean, we all know I like to drink. Okay. Let's put it this way. Hey, Dutch, how much do you spend a year on booze? I don't know, man, between 40 and $100. Like, what? What? That's a pretty big gap. Like, your margin of error is larger than your lowest number that you spend. Yeah, but Dutch. I mean, how much do you spend on Yeti stuff here? Between like $10 and $100. That pretty big gap. Could you narrow it down more? Yeah, can't. So what I named was all things that aren't essential. And then if you're like, hey Dutch, how much do you spend on food every year? I'd be like, $3. You'd be like, well, that's a problem. You you spend way more on pointless, hopeless shit than you do on actual food. Now you're wondering, like, Dutch, where the fuck are you going with this? Well, I'll tell you where I'm going with this. So statistically, the city and county of Denver spends between $43,000 and $106,000 a year on homeless people. We'll cover that in a fucking minute. Do you know how much they spend? I'm sorry, per homeless guy or woman or trans or dog. Who fucking knows? Do you know how much they spend on average per public school student? Just give me a guess. 10 million? Nope. 10,000? Nope. 19 grand. So every year, city and county of Denver spends $19,000 a year per student on public schooling. While we're over here spending double to 5 times as much on fucking homeless people. And get this. This is the funniest thing about this. It's not the funniest, but it's one of the funniest things. Denver Public Schools is a retard factory. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't say retard, but I'm serious. They turn out like stupid kids. Like these kids are not coming out of the Denver public school programs with an education that would qualify them to flip burgers at McDonald's. And that costs $20,000 a year. They're also spending double that to 5 times that on homeless people, and we still have a rampant homeless issue in Denver. And the best part of all this is nobody gives a shit. We're still going to elect Democrats because this is all Democrats. This is all their wacko nonsense plans. It's hilarious, but at the same time, I die a little inside. Like, we're spending $100,000 a year, and it's we also, yeah, we're spending 100 grand a year on homeless people, a homeless dude. Fuck, pay me $100,000. I'll be homeless. You're gonna give me that kind of bread. Now, this is homeless programs because this does include like Denver. We do house the homeless. Like we'll buy you an apartment and you can stay there and you don't have to pay rent. We'll do it for you. We'll get you in a hotel. You don't have to pay rent. We'll do it for you. We'll do that. All that stuff. We're paying like $2,500 a month for this guy in a one bedroom to, do drugs. And it now he's not homeless anymore, but he was homeless. And then we put him in an apartment. So he's still part of the homeless program. And I'm going to keep saying homeless because you're not experiencing homelessness. Some people experience homelessness, but they do it for a short amount of time and then they get their shit together and they get out of homelessness. And there's millions, maybe not millions, but there's thousands and thousands of stories that people have got their life together and they've just done it. But then there's also people that it's a choice and they want to live on the street and, just do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I didn't even know that we spent that much money. Actually, let me clarify. We don't spend that money. We burn that money. We piss that amount of money away because we had like some program to like eliminate homelessness in 10 years. It's not working. It's getting worse. Denver is a fucking war zone, man. I mean, it's turning into Chirac. Like this weekend, I don't know. We had like 16 people shot, a couple dead. Just, but guns are the problem. No, man. And if you still think guns are the problem, you're still stupid. And I can't help you. And we're not going to discuss anymore. It's just, like I said, it's nuts to me that we spend an inordinate, like a crazy fucking amount of money per homeless person when our public school kids get a fraction of that. And we're all like, oh, what's the problem? I don't understand why our kids are stupid and people are still homeless. I can tell you. Okay. What else do we have here? We'll save the good stuff for last because we can just hang out and talk about it. More about Activision, and this will lead into the next thing. So again, Activision, you guys know that's the video game company, Activision Blizzard, who has been accused of sexually harassing female employees, not paying them equal, demoting them, all like just all around scumbag stuff. And it's getting worse. It really is getting worse. More accusations are coming out. Activision is like calling people liars, and actually they're calling the whistleblowers liars, and blah blah blah. And I use that term specifically because Activision's like head honcho, some chick who used to be part of the Bush administration, which I'm not going to claim her, but we can talk about it. During all of this stuff, tweets out an article from I don't know where, I think WAPO or something, about how whistleblowers are the scum of the earth. So let me get it straight. Your company is literally going through a horrible, horrible lawsuit because of quote whistleblowers. And I'm quoting that because that's the point, you know. And then you retweet an article that's saying these people are liars and horrible and they're the problem with corporate America and all that. Like, know your audience, ma'am. Like, what the? How out of touch could you possibly be? How about you, man? Uh, I own a company and all my employees are dying from asbestos. Proven. And I retweet an article that says asbestos isn't that bad. Buck up, you little pussy. How bad does that look? And again, like I said, Activision Blizzard, they've hired this law firm that they're like best buddies with, or the upper echelon is, to rework or do whatever And then employees are pissed about it, which they should be. But again, what's really going to happen? Nothing. People are still going to play Call of Duty. People are still playing World of Warcraft. Nothing. We'll see. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I honestly do. I hope Activision Blizzard goes down in a ball of fire, but I honestly don't think it'll happen. I think it'll get buried. They might do some like policy changes on paper, but no one's going to jail. None of this is going to happen. Even the guy who like sent around pictures of an employee's private parts, a female employee's private parts, nothing will happen to him. The employee who, bought or brought butt plugs and lubrication on an employee retreat and may or may not have caused an employee to take her own life, nothing will happen to him. It'll all just be either swept under or downplayed or something, and we'll all still continue to play Call of Duty. We'll buy their games. People play Warcraft, all that stuff. It's not going to matter. They're too big to fail, and they don't even need the government to prop them up. The government will just look the other way. Kind of like Andy Como. Oh, this guy does the same shit as Activision. So if you guys don't know, he's the governor of New York, right? And he's the one that like a while back was accused of sexual harassing a whole bunch of people, and like vehemently denied it. And his younger brother was on CNN denying it and helping him out, and they were cracking jokes, and it was all a good time. Well, turns out that he actually probably did do everything he was accused of. The New York AG came out and was like, "Yeah, man, these are actually credible, and you actually are a piece of shit." Then what? Nothing. He's still the governor. He's still downplaying it. His brother was told not to talk about it on CNN. Nothing will happen either. That's the whole thing. Like rules for me or rules for thee, but not me. Again, this guy sexually harassed multiple women, and he's gonna get away with it. And the Democrats are just gonna be like, yeah, well, yeah, but Trump, and racist things said at Rocky game. That's what I'm talking about. There's no accountability. Be consistent. Trump didn't actually do the things that you accused him of physically. I mean, he might have said grab her by the pussy. Okay, which not cool, man. But Como actually did it. He took Trump's advice and just started grabbing. And everybody's fine with that. It doesn't matter. He's on our team. He does whatever he wants. And nobody sees the problem with that. Everybody's like, yeah, it's fine. He's a Democrat. It's cool. That's cool. The Me Too movement. Fuck that. We're over that shit. Believe it. Yeah. Fuck that. This is the insanity of the left, and people are still hanging in there. Want to hear more crazy stuff about the left? So, Uncle Joe, or Grandpa Joe, whatever I'm going to call him, he gets up on a press conference a couple days back, and he's like, hey, man, we've had 350 million Americans are vaccinated. Think about that. That's a big number. That's good. That's really good. 350 million Americans are vaccinated. Problem is, that's more than the population of the United States. Joey misspoke. But he misspeaks a lot, and I'm done. I'm not shitting on Joe for this. Okay? He misspoke. That's literally what he does. Don't care. But the point is, the guy claimed 350 million Americans are vaccinated. There's like 330 million in the country. Okay? My point is the mental backflips that the liberals do to justify Joe Biden saying stupid shit. For instance, and this is one of the top ones, Americo Mars. Mars America at Mars Americo. Congratulations, sir. You also win the dumbest tweet from August 6th when you actually posted this. So what he says. It's a huge continent. North America includes Canada and Mexico and Americas, many countries of southern, central, and Caribbean, more, and maybe even Greenland, continental shelf. These are all Americans. Can you imagine being that fucking stupid that you think? Now, actually, Mirko, I'm going to give you the benefit of that. You know what the president meant. He meant Americans in the United States of America. Because when I say I'm an American, I don't mean I'm from fucking Mexico or Canada, you dumbass. That'd be like when people say I'm Canadian, they don't mean anything but they're from Canada. I'm a Mexican, I'm from Mexico. I'm a Panamanian, I'm from Panama. I'm Chilean, I'm from Chile. Huh. You didn't think about that, did you? All of South America could be included as Americans with your rationalization, you dumb fuck. Americans mean United States of America, okay? But just the mental backflips that these people do to justify a crazy old man saying shit. This one's even better. Rudy betrayed. Mm, 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 mm. Rudy underscore betrayed. He meant 350 million Americans worldwide. All caps, man. There are Americans that are actually currently living in America. All right, Rudy. I'll take it. That's a good justifications. I just can't. Some of them are saying he's saying how many vaccines we've given out, which would be they're counting like shot one is one vaccine, shot two is two vaccines. So he's, a little bit behind. Yeah, this person into the Y, into the wind, an uneven keel. You moron. 350 million individual doses. Two of the providers used two shots to completely vaccinate. The coincidences with Aponis has said is blah 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 blah. Again, they're just justified dumb. I mean, Biden could be like, "Hey man, sky's purple." And he'd be like, "Well, he meant at sunset, right before dark." And well, yeah, it's purple someplace. If you're on Mars, I mean, clearly it's purple because a refraction of the sun. And I mean, he's not wrong. It's like the truck thing when he's like, "Yeah, man, I used to be an 18-wheeler driver," and it turns out that he may or may not have ridden in a truck, and people are like, "Yeah, well, I mean, he meant ride in, but he said drive, and what the hell?" Then you just have the dumb people like, "Good work, Mr. President." So here we go. We're gonna wrap this up a little bit because I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna go on to the fun stuff. Just a second. Everybody's bitching about the anti-vaxxers and blah blah blah. They're killing kids and Jesus, they're just murdering people in the streets and those sons of bitches. And here's my idea to bring the anti-vaxxers on board. What you need to do is tell them the truth. No more lies. No more deception. No more this. No more that. No more masks. No more blah blah. Well, Dutch, we have been. Nope. Tell them this. The vaccine was discovered. Yeah, discovered, produced, and began distribution under Trump. Joe Biden had nothing to fucking do with it. Tell them that. Tell them the truth. That's actually what happened. Remember how we talked last week about all these people like, I'm not taking anything from Trump, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, Biden's in his Biden's vax. No, tell them the truth. And that is. And now I know Trump wasn't in there in a fucking, doctor's coat, like, okay, man, if we just put like this, and there's our vaccine. He had nothing to do with it. He didn't actually discover it. All the scientists did without him. It just so happens to happen. It just so happens that it happened under his presidency. Say that. Tell him the truth. I mean, Christ, all we have to do is say, this president inherited Clinton's good economy, or Clinton might have inherited somebody else's, and Trump inherited Obama's, and Obama's inherited Bush's bad economy, and all these parent presidents inherit all these presidents' fuck ups or good doings. What do you say? Should we tell them that Biden inherited Trump's vaccine? No, it's not Trump's, but it was manufactured and distributed in the early stages under Trump. So, do you just want to tell them that? I mean, that's actually factual. That might be the most truthful thing that any of you have said in the past 18 months. Should we tell them that? I think people would be more amenable to it. No? Okay. Well, I'm out of ideas. I mean, we can go to my old one that just let people do whatever the fuck they want. You could die, you die. If you don't, you don't. Who gives a shit? Jesus Christ, you people are too fucking worried about what I'm doing. Worry about yourselves. Okay. On to the one bright spot of this podcast. I was listening to Mandy the other day. You guys know Mandy. I listened to her. You should listen to her as well. 850 KOA, Mandy Connell. I hope she's not mad that I plug her, because maybe she will. Follow her on Twitter. I don't give a shit. She had these guys on from um, a moonshine company. They do make moonshine in Colorado. I'm not gonna say. I don't know. I'll talk to him. Maybe I'll pimp him out. But right now, I'm not. Close to where I live. So I went to check it out. It's like, how did I not know about this? But I figured it's like, oh, this is real close to me. So I headed down to the old moonshine place, and I got to tell you guys, damn, it's good stuff. It is really good stuff. I mean, just their straight, white lightning it's strong and it's good stuff. But they also, mix it like traditional moonshine. I don't know if it's traditional or even if they're moonshinelist. Um, but they're it's really good, and they do like apple pie and stuff like that, which I love. And they have like a lime one, which is like lime and moonshine. It's delicious. Peach cobblers, all it's a really good place. And the best thing is it's a veteran, like I guess the guy distilled, he's a veteran, and he made his booze over in country. I'm not gonna give it away yet. Um and it's really 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 good stuff. So I bought a bunch of it. I've been sipping on that stuff for a while. Not tonight, because okay, well, I mean I can't help it. But I encourage you to all go and find your local distilleries, find your local places, and support them. And I mean, because most of these guys are a little hometown, but find the moonshine guy. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but it's super good. I'll talk to them, see if I can talk about them on there and give their names, because some people don't want to be associated with me. But hey, if you're not, I don't care. Hey man, I appreciate you guys all listening. It's been super fun. Um, Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. You guys know the social stuff. It's links in the description. As always, I super appreciate it, and I can't wait to do the next one. Hopefully, you'll be a little happier. But right now, we're gonna hop online for real and play video games. Until next time, like always, I super appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the end. Bye.